Hello English 102 online students, welcome to week 3 of our course. I hope you're ready to get started on your first major essay assignment this week. And as always, don't forget to listen for the extra credit question or code that will appear somewhere randomly, somewhere in this video. And that way when you go back to the Module 2 folder and you see this video link there will also be a link there for you to enter that code, just like there was for week 1 and week 2. Okay, so just to stay with good habits, we're going to go ahead and click on the course information on the left side of the Blackboard screen. Don't forget to take a look at the course calendar each week. That way you know what we've already finished, what's coming up. It's a good idea even to just double check it on Saturday or let's say a Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, just to make sure you haven't missed any assignments that are due Sunday by midnight. All right, we'll take a quick look at the course calendar ourselves. And of course, last week you worked on assignments 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3. This week we're moving on to the first draft of your first major essay assignment, which is the Curiosity Exploration essay. So let's head over to Module 2 and we'll take a look at what you've been working on and where we're headed next. Okay, so getting into our course modules and then into Module 2. Okay, so just like I mentioned earlier in the video, you'll see another of these links to enter your extra credit code, and the video that you're watching right now will be right under week 3 video tour. Okay, so don't forget to check your due dates just to know what's coming up so you know by Sunday, January 31st, the Curiosity Exploration draft is the assignment that you'll be working on. So this week in assignment 2.1, you all, at least the annotations I've seen so far and graded, I'm seeing some really great work with those annotations. The variety of different annotations you're using, you're asking questions on the article, making comments, using different kinds of color coding systems. I really liked that students decided to use text boxes instead of the comments built into Microsoft Word. I thought that was a great idea because that way you can move your text boxes all over the document. They're not limited to just the side margins. So it's almost like doing it by hand, which is a great idea. So by doing that annotation, you're kind of getting used to what you're going to want to do for yourself later when you start to research your topics for your final research project that we're building up to the end of the semester. The more annotation you do, the more detailed note-taking you do, the better you understand your sources, and the more material you have to take from those when you want to include quotes or paraphrases of your sources in your paper. So this is kind of getting your feet wet with that, getting used to that idea. The second assignment you worked on was the curiosity discussion, and here you saw curiosity in action. A high school science teacher, chemistry teacher, talked about his experience not only as a teacher and how his students were curious in his class and how he encouraged them to ask questions and to want to know more. He also talked about his own medical emergency and how his doctor was curious and that led to a great outcome for him. So we hope that the same is going to happen to you in this course, that you're going to find a topic that you really care about, that's important to you, and that you just can't wait to find out more about it. Okay, so we're kind of building the foundation. All right, moving on to assignment 2.3. This one was more focused on writing skills themselves. So the first essay that you write this semester, the Curiosity Exploration essay, it's a personal essay with the goal of moving us on to more research-based writing, starting from the second major writing assignment forward. So by drawing in your readers, making them curious about your potential topic, getting them involved with you personally is a way to, it's an effective writing technique for a personal essay. So that's the reason why I had you work on assignment 2.3. And I see lots of good ideas so far in the assignments you've submitted. Okay, so the one we really want to focus on this time is major writing assignment 1, and that's the Curiosity Exploration essay, and that's the only thing you're going to be working on this week. And it's purposely designed that way because I want you to focus all your attention on this assignment this week. Coming up with an essay draft is a process. It takes time. I don't want you to wait until the last moment to work on it, and that's tempting for everybody to do when it comes to writing. Many of us get writer's block, even people who've been doing it forever and ever, and it's normal. So I want you to really try to spend a little bit of time each day working on this. I can tell you from experience, when you write something, and you give it a day or two and come back to it, you see your piece of writing in a completely different light, from a completely different perspective. It's almost like a peer review, where somebody else looks at your writing and gives you feedback on it. You can give feedback to yourself in this way because you haven't seen it for a few days, and you just see it in a different way. And I have experienced this many times myself as a writer, so I really encourage you to take your time with this and to spend some time with your writing and some time away from your writing, come back to it, and don't worry too much about it. It's a first draft, so it doesn't need to be perfect, but I do want to see your best effort. Okay, so let's go ahead and just quickly download here the guidelines for this first draft. And we'll take a look at it together. Okay, so I won't read this to you word for word, but I will point out the highlights that you should know to be successful. Okay, so in the overview section, I talk about a type of essay many students write in English 101, which is called a literacy narrative, like an autobiographical essay that focuses on personal experiences connected to reading and writing. A lot of students do this in English 101. But for this assignment, I'd like you to take the concept of that literacy narrative and use it to reflect on a moment or moments in your life when you developed an intense curiosity about a topic or subject. This is the important part. Think back and reflect on significant experiences within this area of curiosity that have helped you develop as a person. Think about who helped you learn about or appreciate this area of curiosity, and consider experiences that influenced how you think about it. Just an example that comes to mind. I've had a lot of student athletes in my classes over the years. And often student athletes, if they're very interested in their sport, very passionate about different topics related to their sport, will often choose to write about that for this essay. And then later on, as they go through the semester and explore researching this area that they're really interested in, they come to find maybe a problem or a controversial issue that exists in that sport. As an example, I had a tennis player last year who wrote about ethics in tennis, that sometimes I think it was like fixing matches in tennis, that people were doing this and getting paid for it, and some people didn't behave well in the sport. And so she decided to focus her research on ethics in professional tennis. And so as you're choosing your topic, think about research topics that might follow from this. Maybe another example might be, let's say I had a student who was a nursing major, and she decided to write about telemedicine. Of course, nowadays, telemedicine is really common with the COVID-19 pandemic because people often choose to do a doctor visit online rather than go in person to an office. So she talked about some of the issues surrounding telemedicine, privacy issues, internet issues. So there were all kinds of topics she could explore with that, even though she wrote about her passion for nursing in the first essay. So this just gives you some idea of where we're going with this. Okay, and in the second paragraph here, write what you know, and that's the goal of everything we're doing in this semester, is you're starting off with a personal exploration of your topic, and little by little you're going to get to know more and more about this topic. You're going to be developing expertise about it. And the goal is that you start personal, but little by little you're going to be researching it, collecting information on it, and eventually talking about a problem or controversial issue related to this area that you're very interested in. So the audience will be your classmates and me. You will have at least one classmate who will read your draft and give you feedback on it. We'll be doing that next week. Okay, so just to kind of get started with this assignment, think of this essay as a story or series of experiences about your chosen topic. Try to recall a moment or a series of experiences in your life when your area of curiosity had a major impact on your life. I've given you a bunch of questions here that you can use to kind of take notes, to brainstorm a little bit about which topic you might choose for this assignment. So if you have questions about any of those, or if there are other ones that you think of and you want to run them by me, feel free to do that. I'm just an email away or a virtual office visit away. I've also given you a potential organization model that you can follow. So you can start with an attention getter. Remember the introduction paragraphs you looked at in assignment 2.3? Now it's time to think back to those. Were there some techniques that you learned about in those paragraphs that you might use for your own essay draft? How can you grab your reader's attention? What kinds of questions could you ask them? Is there a scenario you could describe? For example, going back to the sports example, is there, let's say, a match or a tournament that you were a part of that really sticks in your memory and you could use it to describe or set up the experience you're going to describe in your essay? So think about ways you can identify with your readers or attract them to get more interested in your topic. Okay, describe how you first became interested in the topic, including any early memories and influences. Okay, describe how the topic continued to influence you as you interacted with others or went through school or other experiences, other people who influenced you. How is the topic going to be significant for you in the future? Okay, and then kind of connect your topic to your life and the broader world in the final paragraph. Okay, this all might seem a little like, wait, how should I approach this assignment? This just seems kind of open-ended and vague. And it's kind of purposely like that in some way because I want to give you lots of freedom to explore different areas that interest you. And I think it's really helpful to take a look at a sample essay to see how another student approached this. So you'll see I attached here a PDF of a student who wrote a similar essay a few years ago. Okay, and this student wrote about baseball. So in his first paragraph, he kind of described baseball in, the attention getter in the beginning kind of describes what baseball is in a somewhat general sense, but then he tries to relate it to himself. Okay, and by the time he gets down to his thesis, he's saying, over the years, my passion for the game has grown in a variety of ways. Baseball prepared me for college by helping me develop time management, etc., different lessons that coaches taught him. So then he goes on to explain his personal connection to baseball, different people that have shaped him in baseball over the years. And then there's a paragraph here where he kind of connects it or tries to transition this topic into what he might research about that topic in the future. So he says, for example, in recent years, it's come to my attention that baseball's popularity is on the decline. Many people are not as interested in the game as they used to be. So maybe one area of research for him is to try to figure out what the reasons for that might be. Another one was talking about, let's see, he said, since the popularity of baseball has just recently begun to decline a remarkable amount. Okay, he also said something about, another problem within the game of baseball is the racism that occurs. Baseball has a very diverse group of players from different countries. Racism is a growing issue. Okay, so he talks about two potential areas that might connect to his passion for baseball and even ways that he might begin to research them. So this is a really important paragraph because I want you to take this personal connection you have to the topic and start thinking about how you might carry it forward into other assignments this semester. What are some problems or issues within this area that you care so deeply about that might be great research topics as we go forward? Okay. All right, so let's take a look at the last few items. If I can get it to open again, that is. Okay. All right, so just the kind of the nuts and bolts you need to know to submit your first draft. All right, the final version of your essay should be 3 to 4 pages, 12-point font, Times New Roman. You can choose to format your essay in MLA or APA style. Okay, in the course documents folder, it's at the very top of the course modules, I have given you templates for both styles. Your choice really depends on what you do after English 102. If you are in education, or a nursing major, I would recommend doing APA because you're going to need those later on in your major. And the sooner you get used to that style and start to practice it, the better it is for you. I have often heard stories from the Writing Center about how lots of students visit there for help with APA style. So if you think you're going to be one of those students later on who's going to need help with APA, take advantage of the time to practice it now. I'm very familiar with both styles, so I'll be glad to help you with either one. If you're comfortable with MLA, you've done it in other classes, you feel like you want to stick with that one, or it's the one you know you'll use more in your future major, by all means choose MLA. So the choice is completely up to you. Okay, the first draft, this is what you're concerned with for Sunday, January 31st. Must be at least half of the required length, or 1.5 to 2 pages. So you're just writing the first draft. Okay, the first draft can be just the introduction and several body paragraphs, or it could be just body paragraphs and a conclusion, or maybe just body paragraphs. So you choose what you want to put in your essay. But make sure you've got at least 1.5 to 2 pages of content, so that way your classmate has something to review and they can give you good feedback on that. Okay, let's see. So yes, the topic does seem broad, but as I said earlier, it's intentional. I want to give you the freedom to think in many different directions at this early time in the semester. You can always narrow, refine, and or change your topic as the semester progresses. Okay, don't be afraid to explore topics that don't seem academic. I had a student last semester who decided to write his research project on the cognitive benefits of playing video games, and like the brain benefits of playing video games. And it doesn't seem like something you might write about for an academic paper, but it turned out to be a great project. He was able to show through his research, lots of research studies, that in fact there are many cognitive benefits to playing video games, ones that I wasn't even aware of. So I learn a lot from my students' research too. Okay, keep in mind this is a personal essay. It's not a research paper, so you do not need to include extra sources. You're not going to be writing a pro-con paper, an argument paper. This is a paper about you and what your area of curiosity is. You're going to do the research later, okay? So don't be concerned with including a bunch of sources. You'll do that in the second essay. Okay, you'll submit your assignment in Turnitin. If you're not familiar with Turnitin, the link is right here underneath the assignment guidelines. So you're going to click on View Assignment and turn your assignment in there on Sunday, January 31st or before that. All right, back over to our assignment guidelines. Okay, so the schedule of due dates, as I mentioned, you'll be submitting the first draft of your essay by Sunday the 31st. And between the 31st and Sunday, February 14th, that's when the final version of your paper is due. You're going to be getting feedback from a classmate. I'll tell you how to do that next week. I will be giving you feedback through Turnitin. I'll show you how to view that feedback if you haven't used Turnitin before. And so the goal here is that you really get started on the path to a topic that you're really interested about, and you'll kind of get feedback from me and your classmates to help you decide if that's the case. Okay, as far as grading, the course documents folder has the rubric that I will use to grade all of your major essay assignments this semester. So let's take you over there very quickly so you know where that is. Okay, so into my classroom, and course modules, and then course documents. So in this folder, you'll find the template for MLA, you'll find the template for APA, and you'll see the rubric for grading the first, second, and final essay in the course. There's a separate rubric for the annotated bibliography, which comes up later on. But these are the three that you'll need to look at for next week. Okay, so the code for extra credit for this week is going to be, listen carefully, Curiosity 2021, the letter H, 24. So that's Curiosity 2021, H, 24. So make sure you enter that in the link that I provide, the Google document, where you can put that. I will see your response, and then you can go ahead and get extra credit for that. Okay, so I think that's everything you need to know for this week. If you have any questions about the assignment, if you're feeling like, wow, I just don't know how to start, or this is harder than I imagined it would be, please feel free to email me, to drop by virtual office hours. Those office hours are right here above course modules. If you click on that, it's going to take you right here where you will see the links for those office hours. So if you were coming tomorrow, for example, this will be activated at that time. Okay, so that's everything for this week. I hope you have a great week. Good luck with your first draft, and just try to enjoy it. It should be about something you love, something you enjoy, and a topic that you want to share with the rest of your classmates and with me. And I'm excited to read your first drafts. So have a great week.